So I showed you in another video where I told you the nut for this pendulum bob leader wire. Now I'm going to have to re-straighten this clock. But I showed you another video where I took a zip tie because I didn't have the proper nut that threads on there. Well, the further I went up with the zip tie, the looser the zip tie got. And I've done this before. I cut out a piece of plastic from this chewing gum. Now, you don't have to use this kind of chewing gum, but you want hard plastic. And what you do is you cut out a piece of plastic and you poke a small hole in the middle of it. And when my parents were still alive, they went to the nutrition center all the time, and you could see I got that thing on there. They went to the nutrition center all the time, and they had this clock in the nutrition center, and I serviced it. When I brought it back, the people lost the nut to the pendulum bob leader wire. So I was in there one day, and every time I went in there, I wound up the clock and put it at the right time. Well, the nut was gone. So I took a straw, a drinking straw, and I cut a piece off of it, and I poked a hole in that drinking straw and used that for the nut. As far as I know, I haven't been to the nutrition center for a few years. That straw is still being utilized to hold that pendulum bob. It works. Yeah, is it professional? No. However, with these old clocks, even with newer clocks, such as Herbert Hur cuckoo clocks, Herbert Hur used their own system. And if you go to a local hardware store around here, I think Herbert Hur uses a 4mm nut. You're not going to find any 4mm nuts around here. You'd have to order it. And is it worth paying shipping and handling charges for one nut? So for those people who are going to talk negative about this video, it wouldn't be the first time somebody talked negative about my video. However, my videos are designed to show people how to fix their clocks at the cheapest possible way. And if you would have to have a thread gauge. Again, I had to remove the clock away from the wall, and when I did, the pendulum came off, and I bent the crutch, and now I'm going to have to move the clock away from the wall and bend the crutch and put it back in beat, something I'm going to do later because I got an appointment right now. But anyway, if you would have to have a thread gauge to know exactly what nut goes on that thread. Or you think outside the box and you use something like a zip tie or a plastic piece that has a hole in it that will work for the nut. So anyway, I hope y'all like this video. Give me a thumbs up. And the reason why I showed you me winding this clock, at one time when I had every one of my cuckoo clocks wound in my house, I did not want to sit here and wind one weight at a time. I don't care whether it's got 2 weights on it or whether it's got 3 weights on it. I grab the chains, pull them slowly all at the same time to wind up my clocks. What I would suggest, and I was holding this camera, so I normally, with my left hand, because I'm right-handed, hold the clock while you wind up the clock. That way the clock doesn't move. If this was an 8-day clock and it had 3 weights on it, if you would say wind one weight at a time and you don't wind them properly, let's say you wind the weight to the far right or to the far left, the other weights will tilt your clock slightly, and that's why you want to hold the clock up against the wall while you wind your clock, even if it's a 1-day clock, because you can get it out of beat. Anyway, give me a thumbs up, leave me some comments, and may God bless each and every one of you. As I was saying, you could take a drinking straw or a piece of plastic or whatever in a pinch. I live about 15 miles from town. At the price of gas to go there and back, my truck gets 15 miles a gallon. It's going to cost me $5 every time I make a trip to the store, if they even have the parts I need. And like I said, with Herbert Hur clocks, the store I go to, they don't have the right size nuts. So in a pinch, you do what you have to do to get your clocks running. And nobody's ever going to look inside the case. So you could leave that piece of straw or piece of plastic on that clock for as long as you want. If somebody's looking inside the case, they need to be purchasing your clock. This is a French clock, okay? This is a pendulum. What I want to show you will not work with this because the bob will not slide up and down, okay? So I put the piece of wire through this pendulum. I poked a small hole in both sides of the straw. Now watch. It takes a lot of force to move that straw. So what I'm getting at, with the regular swing, you can use this piece of straw to regulate your clock. A lot of clocks, they're making it harder. A lot of the antique clocks, and even some of the modern vintage clocks, like Herbert Hur. Herbert Hur's no longer in business. It's harder and harder to find parts for Herbert Hur clocks, and they used unique stuff. Smeckenbecker used unique stuff. So sometimes you have to think outside the box to get your clocks running. And you know, I live out in the middle of nowhere. I'm sure there's some of my YouTube subscribers who have a hard time going to Home Depot, Menards, True Value Hardware, wherever, to purchase parts, and can't afford to purchase parts. My YouTube videos have always been how to repair your clocks the cheapest way possible. You know, if people can afford to repair their clocks the most expensive way, they're going to take it to a clock repair person, where they're going to charge them whatever the going rate is for that area. So, again, now if this piece of wire had threads on it, that straw would not move, or it should not move. It depends on how big of a hole you've poked in the straw. Like in this case, I poked a bigger hole because I made it for this, and watch what happens. So, yeah, you have to use some common sense and poke a hole that this wire or your pendulum leader wire, whatever, pendulum rod, pendulum stick, um, just big enough for it to fit in that piece of straw. Like I said, I repaired a clock for the nutrition center here in Ripley County. When my mom and dad was going to the nutrition center, every once in a while I'd show up and visit them and have a meal. It's a good place to go for them to eat and socialize with people their age, their friends, and somebody donated just a regular clock. It wasn't anything fancy, mantle clock. And I was asked by my parents, they volunteered me basically for me to service a clock because it didn't work. So I brought it home, got it going, took it back up there, and whenever I visited my parents, I would make sure it was wound and had the right time. And I told the people that worked there how to adjust the pendulum bob and what it was for. And somebody lost the nut for the stem for the pendulum. And so I was in there one day and the thing wasn't working, and I seen why it wasn't working. So brainstorming, they always use straws to drink your drink out of. I just cut a straw, took my dad's pocket knife, put a small slit in that straw, and as far as I know, today that clock is still running. I haven't been back to the nutrition center since my dad died, and during COVID, the nutrition center was closed. They did do home meal services, and so my dad died during the COVID onset of the COVID event, and something else, and I don't want to discuss that. But anyway, in a pinch, use a piece of straw, a plastic straw, or plastic it could be a plastic cup. You have to make it small enough, like in that grandpa the clock. I don't want the plastic hitting the wall. So you have to make it small enough so it's not going to cause resistance in the pendulum swinging back and forth, so it doesn't hit the case, the wall, whatever the case might be. And it works. And so I got the clock pretty well set to time by using that piece of plastic. I just checked it a few minutes ago, and it was keeping really good time. I might have to do a little bit of adjustment, but I've got several clock nuts. None of them fit, and so thinking outside the box, and that's what you have to do when you work on clocks. Anyway, I hope you like this video. Please subscribe to my channel and to all the other people that I mentioned. These videos take a lot of time and effort to give you free advice. So I never ask for money. I never will ask for money. The only thing I do is ask that you hit the like button, leave me some comments, and hit the subscribe button. Hitting the like button and leaving comments makes an algorithm in YouTube show my videos in the YouTube world more. Subscribing helps me out. YouTube pays me. I'm not asking you to pay me. YouTube doesn't pay that much. After I finally got 1,000 subscribers, after working for 3 years and posting all these videos, I was making about $28 a month. still working my butt off, answering people's questions, posting videos. A year later, I'm making about $50 a month. And guess what? You don't get paid until you have at least $100 in their account. There always has to be $100 in their account. So in other words, you have to accumulate $200 before you get $100. And if it takes you 4 months to accumulate that $100, you get paid every 4 months. If it takes you 3 months, you get paid every 3 months. I'm not making a killing off this, folks. I don't need the money. I'm a very blessed person. But if I can make some money off of it, then yeah, I want it. I want what I deserve, and I feel I should be getting paid a decent amount of money for the free services that I'm doing. So please, same thing with all the other subscribers that I mentioned in all my videos, please subscribe to their channel. Torshindale, for example, he's 70-some years old. He repairs anniversary clocks for a living. You can look at my analysis on YouTube on my channel. Currently, the number 2 most watched video is me trying to repair a Japanese anniversary clock. And I said trying. I did manage to get it in beat, but I don't quite understand how to raise and lower the pendulum on that Japanese clock. And I could have asked Torshindale, and he would answer me, but I'm not worried about that clock. I'm worried about fixing other clocks. But Derek Torshindale works on these clocks for a living over in the United Kingdom. He has people shipping him clocks. He gives you free advice. Matthew Reed is the same way. He lives over in the UK. He works on clocks for a living. I don't work on clocks for a living. I work on my own clocks, or my friends' clocks, my family members' clocks. But they are giving their hidden secrets, their years of experience on what you can do to repair your clock so you don't have to pay somebody to do it. I don't care whether you got an anniversary clock or not. He deserves to be subscribed to. His videos deserve to be watched. Same way with Matthew Reed and all the other people. I got young people that I advertise for. Mark YTP 3051, 14 years old. He lives over the Ukraine area, Russian area. He fixes his own clocks from watching my YouTube videos or video chatting with me, and he does that quite often. Jordan Busby, he knows quite a bit about clocks. His videos are short. He's a young kid. If you do not support the youth horologists, horology is a dying breed because they're going to battery-operated clocks. A lot of the younger generation doesn't want the cuckoo clock or grandfather clock, especially grandfather clocks. My buddy Ron contacted me today, sent me pictures of a grandfather clock. And I feel I have to show you this. So stand by and let me get those pictures. Look at that beautiful moon dial. We're going to zoom in because there's something I want you to see. and it's not that moon dial. But that moon dial is beautiful. Parts are in box. Was going to turn into a gun cabinet, replace clock with electric internals. They were going to destroy this clock. It's got some damage. A dog or something chewed on it. But clock repair is a dying breed, and grandfather clocks, he paid $25 for this clock. I told him, Ron, the clock is worth every bit of that money. The parts alone is worth probably quadruple what he paid for it. Here's the movement. It's got a gong on it. The case. The pendulum bob. Look how big that thing is. That thing is big as a... That thing is huge. There's the movement and the moon dial. It's got a ship on the moon dial. On the other side, let's see what it looks like. There's the ship. And this side is a barn. Maybe some flowers. I'd have to zoom in. Sorry, sheep. My buddy told me it was sheep and I forgot. But that thing is beautiful. And somebody was going to destroy it. Here's the hood, removable hood, like a grandfather clock is supposed to have. There's the weights. And so when he said, Mark, should I get it? And I'm like, yes, you get it. I'll double your money. And so he bought it. And so I'm going to give him $50 for this clock. That was at a garage sale, yard sale, and somebody gave up on it. Probably because it was going to cost them too much money to have serviced and repaired. So they quit. And so, again, the purpose of my videos is to show you how you can cheaply repair your own clocks with little common sense and little effort. And so, do I need another grandfather clock? No, I've got 12 in my house. But it was $50. It was something that I couldn't pass up. I got bit by the clock bug really hard. And I keep telling myself I'm not going to buy another clock. But my buddy, he's like, what do you think? I'm like, you better buy it. He's like, I don't really need another project. I'm like, you buy it and I'll double your money. And so I'm going to pick it up next month. So anyway, I hope y'all enjoy this video. Please subscribe to these folks' channels. Like I said, Derek works on clocks for a living. He doesn't need to give his years and years of experience. The man is 70 years old. He's giving you experience, his experience on how to repair a clock. And you know what? If you have a question that he doesn't show you in his videos, he will answer your questions. He'll make another video for you. He's a group expert in my collections group, and anytime I have a question, he answers me, and if I ask him to make a video, he makes a video. So please support these folks. They do a lot. thank you, and may God bless each and every one of you.